Hi guys, welcome to my channel, Lighting Your Sunshine, where we like to shine a light within and empower ourselves. So today we're going to use the feminine cards. Like I said, I was going to use them last reading, but I ended up using different ones. But we have the Divine Feminine Oracle, we have the Priestess of Light, and then we have the Character Oracle. So let's shake it up, see what wants to come out, and yeah. I'm actually having my grandma come through. I don't know what she wants to share, but I sense her presence, and it's welcoming, but it's kind of sad too. And then we pulled 3 others, and I tried to start this video a couple times and it just kind of didn't work, so we started over, but this one came out every single time, so I find that interesting. And then we have these 2, and so let me show you what we got. We have the Black Madonna. The Black Madonna, Our Lady of the Hermits. I transform pain and suffering into a greater capacity to love. This one, we have Dakini, and it says the Enlightened Feminine. My gut instinct is wise beyond reason. I trust my intuition to guide me. We have Bridget with the Goddess of the Eternal Flame. I am an eternal flame, and each day my light grows brighter. And then we have Sappho with the Poetess. I love every inch of my body, and I love the women in my life fiercely. Oh, that makes sense when my grandma came. So nice. I don't think she actually has a message. She's just here because I love the women in my life, and she was one of the women I loved very deeply. And so she's just here for support. Okay, I shook this one up in the last one, and this one came out too. So I'm kind of glad like it's still flowing, the message. So we have duality with many meanings and misunderstanding. We have healing earth with the power to give and receive. It was in reverse, but we're not going to do reversals. 2 and 4. Good. So we got 4 and 4. So this one will go above. So we have the Divine Masculine. And the Divine Masculine's going on the top. And so it's kind of like, well, I'll take a picture and I'll put it. That's what I feel like. Before, I was like, you could barely see the pictures I was holding, but I really want you to see this. Because for some reason, the way the spread is today is important. And then what's on the bottom? No reversals. So we have abundance, which is fortune, wealth, and plenty. So let's move that. Look at that. So what do I see here? I see the 4 women in the middle. And they're being protected by the outside forces. With the Divine Masculine, we have healing earth, the power to give and receive with abundance, and then duality. Giving and receiving is across from each other. Give and receive, you need them both. And then we have the Divine Masculine, we have the Divine Feminine, and then we have abundance, so like working its way. The Black Madonna, Our Lady of Hermits, the Enlightened Feminine, the Goddess with the Eternal Flame, and the Poetess. So what do I see here? I see, especially with the Hermits, I transform pain and suffering into greater capacity to love. So I see the feminine here in the middle, with like spirit all around, kind of holding this protective bubble. And in this protective bubble, just kind of like letting them heal in this moment. Because as that one said, pain and suffering, I feel like there's been great sadness to the Divine Feminine, and so they've just kind of like left her alone for a bit, and yeah, just let them heal. But what's interesting is it kind of it's kind of giving me the vibe of like a medicine wheel, definitely. And when I put these ones out, the character oracle, normally you would start this way, right? From the east, and then you work your way as it goes. But this one wanted to start that way. Is it 2 for everyone? They said yes. Let my brain think. No, that's right. Okay. So we've got these character energy ones, and it's so funny because, let me get this out of the way. Where can we put it? Dang, everything's full. You sit there. Stay. This has to go too. We need room. So when I used these character oracle ones, I was like, when I first did it, there was like a hate of manipulative kind of masculine energy. But in this one, the masculine energy here seems to be like a divine protector. It's actually a lot more comforting, the masculine energy that's coming out in this reading. So where do we start? We'll start how they wanted to. So the very first one to come out was barber. And it says, artist of tresses, trimming, beautification, adornment, and fashion. And what came out with the barber was boss in reverse. So that would have been master of wealth, risk, investment, leader. And so I see someone, especially with this one in the middle, with this Sappho, and being like the poetess. I love every inch of my body. And this one was all about beautification. And I love the women in my life fiercely. And the poetess, I see like art being really important. However it is that you express yourself, that kind of brings abundance. I see in the past, so like I said, I did try this reading before, and surprisingly there's a lot of cards that are coming out from all 3 decks. We had the duality, and then we had the boss before, but in the boss it kind of came out in the upright, and with it came the one up here. So not this one. So we have detective, and then with the detective we have swindler in reverse. So in the past reading that I tried to come through, there was the boss, but the boss was like a hypocrite and a swindler and like using money and things, and I was just like not engaging this energy. Something happened and we said, let's shut it down. And so I kind of like sat, I like regrounded myself. And it's such a totally different energy coming through this time, because now we have the boss in reverse. Why? Because the poetess came out. It's something to do with heart-centered healing, a love of women, collective. And so in this detective energy, it says invest. It doesn't. Look, they didn't put an I on it. It should say investigator, but it's a negestigator. Investigator of truth, a sleuth, clues, pursuer, and truth unveiled. And I think that with this one, with this divine masculine at the very top, protecting this in this like fashioned medicine wheel type, whatever this is turning into, they kind of caught this, and that's why this is in reverse now. And so I see this masculine energy in the reading turning a little bit more to the feminine energy. And so here we have the swindler, right? We have the investigator checking this out and put a stop to it. Kabosh. And it's a master of deception, hypocrisy, and disguise, a conspiracy. So it was like, enough is enough. We're not going to deal with that. And then over here, these both were in reverse, but lost soul and homelessness. So the lost soul says seeker of clarity. And then with this investigator, it said truth unveiled. So whatever it was that was first picking up in this energy, it was deceptive. It was like a hurt feminine in this. And this person They wanted to be the boss. They wanted to be the leader. And they didn't use heart. And there was like a feminine in the story. And rather than going and using heart within it, they went with like logic, and they ended up like hurting someone. And by doing this, how by hurting them, it actually like took someone's freedom. It took them out of being open-hearted and being able to express themselves, and put it, they used to be like a flow of infinity. And then it put a stop to it. And then there was another card that came out that was like portal, and it was like closed. It was like no, because they at the time didn't realize that they were backstabbing them and shut their heart down. And they're just like, well, this world is duality, right? We got the duality card. It was just a misunderstanding. But I don't know how, it wasn't a misunderstanding. It was a wise and calculated choice. So we stopped that, right? Something happened, that reading didn't work out. And so grounded, centered, I kind of like, I saw that feminine energy being like trapped, and it was like, you're not trapped. You're able to heal yourself. You're able to get yourself through anything. Whatever these people do doesn't affect you and your heart. So keep your heart open, keep your heart pure, stay calm, go with the flow. Don't get angry. Don't get manipulative. Don't get any of that. And this reading came out, and it's so beautiful. I see two sides finally coming together, and like finally the masculine energy not being so focused on I need to be the leader, you need to listen to me, and being more in the protective energy. And so with that, it reversed both of these. So we had a lost soul, and then we had homelessness. Because in it, that portal closed. That portal was the heart or contract or connection or something. And they were like, well, I was making boss moves, and in it, realized they lost out on something amazing. And in it was like, but it was a misunderstanding. And it was like, no, it was not a misunderstanding. It was a calculated choice. And so this is a much more welcomed energy. Yeah. So lost soul, seeker of clarity, wanderer, confusion, defeat, struggle. Well, that's not happening anymore because we got this detective. Rather than being the leader, I just see someone like working, right, at whatever it is that they love. They're like, this is who I am at the core. I've always loved, I don't know, I always loved being an artist. And that's the next thing to come out. Over here was unemployment, solitude, hunger, bankruptcy, wandering. And the only way that they got into that energy was if they tried to make decisions without using the heart. Because there is a need to protect the feminine energy. Because it's the feminine energy that is creation. It is the heart. And if you take away the heart, that's when we got these swindlers and these lost souls and homelessness and all these things that we just, you can't solve those problems without heart. And so I feel called to read this one again. Artist of tresses, trimming, right? Cutting out some things, beautification, adornment, and fashion. And it's, I see that more as like being creative, right? We have the poetess. And so last but not least, we had the painter come out. And it says, depict, sublimate, abstraction, form, sensation. And with it, this one is in reverse, was the king. And that kind of reminded me of like the boss energy, the king, that kind of energy. And so it says sovereign of realms, monarch, authority, rule, and inheritance. So how do I see that? With it being in reverse, right? There's, as it said, I rule over the realm. You do as I say. I'm the boss. I'm the leader. But I feel like whoever was kind of in that position didn't want to be in that position, and so they chose to be an artist instead, to do art, because by stopping to go within the heart and doing what you love, to live a life that you love, that's what's going to bring you prosperity. It's not being the ruler and being fair, because in it wasn't fair, because the choices were made with intellect, and the feminine energy in this story got stabbed in the back. That's what it was. I got literally stabbed in the back when that reading happened, and I felt lost or something. I don't know. It just really shut down something. So within this story, and so take energy as energy is, because you yourself have masculine energy and feminine energy within you. And so you can be a male who could tap into your heart and feminine energy and work on whatever is creative by exploring your passions, right? That's more of the feminine energy. And I see like the painting and the creating and those kind of things, bringing about the abundance. So this is not to say in the story that it's like a masculine did a feminine dirty or wrong. Could be. Maybe that might be some part of the story for some people. But this is an inside job. Because as that previous reading talked about a portal, the portal was closed, but there's been mentions of portals throughout the reading the last couple days, and the portal had to do with something within your heart. And my heart all of a sudden got really hurt when I started talking about this. So there is a need to not try and deceive, not to be that swindler, not try to control things, to look at things objectively as the detective would. Not try to control others, not trying to control the feminine energy within you, right? This is how I'm supposed to act, right? Especially if, let's say it's a guy, guys aren't allowed to cry. And then if it's a feminine energy, being like, no, you gotta be in your masculine energy, and you gotta do this, right? You need to be a boss, a leader. And it's like, just be. Let both energies take care of each other. Whereas the masculine wants to control and dominate, but it really should protect. Protect is the true origin of it. And so at the center, right, I transform pain and suffering into a greater capacity to love. With the hermit energy. From the hermit energy, it leads to the enlightened feminine, my gut instinct. And so that's not even right. Normally it's the mind and the heart, but what about the gut? And I want to tap into Bridget. So she kind of showed me as like the flame keeper. And as she did that, it grew and it grew and it grew, and it came out. It came out in song. It came out in beautiful, lovely words, which makes sense because over here we have the poetry. And it said, I love every inch of my body, and I love the women in my life fiercely. So something to do with being fierce. I am the eternal flame, and each day my light grows brighter. I keep feeling a bit of pain in my heart still, though. So what about this? Oh, it's bringing me over here. So on this side of the reading, right, we have the masculine finally being like, you know what? I don't want to control. I don't want to dominate. I'd rather create, right? We have the detective and the swindler looking at things clearly and not deceiving and manipulating. In between the not wanting to be a boss and following on your own creative adventure. So that's that duality. Duality is in between those two. And then in between the homelessness and the lost soul is the painter and the king. And in between that is healing. The power to give and receive. What don't I understand of that? So the Dakini was there, and it said, I trust my intuition to guide me. My gut instinct. So it brought it to the gut. And then when I went down to the Sapiro, the poetess, it said, I love every inch of my body. So you know how they always say, like, follow your gut, like you get that butterflies in your stomach or something. But as the poetess, it kind of showed every inch of your body, loving every part of you, because every part is speaking. Every cell is intuition, and it's telling you something. So I'm now tapping back into that heart, and that heart, I feel heavy. I feel pain. I feel it. I feel it on the feminine side. No. It is on the masculine side. And what about it? It's having a hard time trusting in that duality, because it seemed like so many times in the past that it stood with this king, which was like sovereign of the realms being you, and an authority and rule. And I'm, as that part said, inheritance, I saw it maybe on the father's line. Something on the father's line is coming through, and there's a bit of heaviness to it. And what I get from that is like the past men who have influenced your life, right? Your fathers and your grandfathers, right? We got this fierce love for the women, right? Where did that one come from? And I love the women in my life fiercely. But when it comes to the masculines, I see a shift kind of happening here, and embracing more and becoming more protector. And in that, protecting that creativity. So they're showing me healing the earth with past lines, and how like they had to be in this like monarch, sovereign of realms kind of energy. But there's a need to give and receive, right? The back and forth, back and forth. So I feel like I need to pull one more card. Or am I missing something? They brought me like this. So the boss in reverse matches up to the homeless in reverse. They're connected somehow. When you try to control everything, the more and more you lose everything. And then the barber matches up to the lost soul in reverse. When you follow your passion, you don't feel lost. You have passion and clarity. The detective matches up to the painter. So how do these two come together? I feel like it's like examining yourself, and as it talked about the whole body is speaking to you. So you have pain in your heart, it's like examine it. And what's that? How do you take that and make it onto art? How can you make it and transform it into something else? Which is like that Black Madonna energy. I transform pain and suffering into a greater capacity to love. So one day you're gonna look back at this pain, right? Because I feel a little bit of pain, sorrow of maybe past things. It might even not even be your energy. It might be generational, that kind of happened to you and is in your DNA, and you just inherited it at birth. And then the king energy in reverse matches up to the swindler. The king is matched up to the painter, the swindler's matched up to the detective. But if this was in the upright, then this one would be in the upright. Trying to control things, someone's not going to like it, and they're just going to, as this one said, master deception, hypocrisy, and disguise. Especially when it's beside the painter. whatever I feel like, you know how you have like a purpose, you have like a soul purpose or a mission, something like that. And then when you don't follow your heart, you do a great disservice to yourself. It's almost like you have this soul plan, this soul mission to do whatever it is that you came here to do. But then we come here and they're like, this is how you're supposed to be. And you're like, no, I'm meant to be a painter. I'm meant to be a barber. I'm meant to do whatever it is that you feel called to do. And then trying to fit into those norms. And by doing so, right, you live your whole life, you do exactly that. It never felt right, right? You always had this like lost soul feeling. You feel like you've never found home because you're here to create that beauty that's here on earth. And it's the feminine energy that really is that creative spark. So protecting that, loving that, embracing that is what's going to bring the abundance and the fortune and the wealth and the plenty. And yeah, then you live a life that you love. But for those who never do that, who never tap into the heart, and they're like, you know, in that mark or whatever you're forced into, and then you pass away, you go do your soul review, and you realize, shit, I didn't do at all what I came here to do. And so you still have a little bit of like lessons that you gotta go do. So you come back again as a different face, different place. Maybe you're feminine this time, maybe you're masculine this time, maybe you're just the world's duality. You have been and contain all these energies within you. So how can you balance them? How can you use them when needed? There is a time to be a boss and a leader, and there's a time to soften. But from this, it's like the heart pain's gone. After explaining that, all that pain is finally gone. You've taken that pain and you transmute it into art, into poetry, into something beautiful that your heart came here to create. So it wants to come up and out. Listen to your whole body. Your whole body is a tool that's fine-tuned to energy to guide you exactly where you were meant to be. So we go back to the Dakini. My gut instinct is wise beyond reason. I trust my intuition to guide me. And I feel like the more and more you keep doing this, the more and more you keep listening to it, the more and more you will thrive. And that's where the flame or the intuition gets louder and louder and louder. And then you live a life that you love. So with that, we'll leave it there. I hope you have a good day, and we'll see you next time. Bye, guys.